If you would please join me in a moment of silent prayer for our district, for the tornado victims and people that are special to you, and our children, of course. Thank you. We join our country and stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Salute. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wednesday, would you call the roll and establish a quorum, please?
Certainly. Craig Kelly.
Here.
Deanna Ballin. Here. Amy Posney. Here. Herman Kendrick.
Here.
Amy Madonna. Here.
Thank you. Quorum has been established. Please record at this time.
Yes, board members, you have before you the approval of the agenda. My recommendation is your approval.
Do you have a motion to approve the agenda as stated? So moved. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes. Thank you, Dr. Martin.
We're always excited for recognitions, and if I could call on Jason Gaston at this time, we have a number of people to be acknowledged.
Thank you, Dr. Murphy, Mr. Craig, Kelly, and the rest of the Board of Education for this opportunity. Okay, first up, and we'll follow along here on the big screen. Many of you are still relishing in our state championship with the Hoover Lady Bucks. Coach Crystal Johnson is in the audience. If she'll come on up. And she does have a player representative, Miss Rachel Hager, with her tonight, so we'll present them with this certificate here. And as I do so, and correct me if I'm wrong, Coach, 47-33 victory over Hewitt-Trussville, of course, Class 7A. You only lost once all season to a 6A champion, Hazelgreen. And you regularly beat opponents by 30 points or more. So,
we just want to thank everybody for their support this season. Long season, but it's always good to come out state champion. And Rachel has a ball that we'd like to present to you, Dr. Murphy.
Awesome. I'll take
Thank y'all so much. We're proud of you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I would spin, but I think I'd probably lose it.
and Coach Johnson is an alma mater of Hoover High School and was on a championship team herself as a student. Next up, River Chase Elementary School math team. I know Dr. Alice Turney, I believe, was scheduled to be here with her assistant principal, Dana Junkin, and teacher Michelle Ross. I believe some of their math team participants are with us tonight. And as they come to the front, you see their photo here. They were part of the Muscle Shoals Middle School Math Tournament back in November, where they won 3rd place in their division of 5th grade. And they were in the Hayden Middle School Math Tournament this past February, just a few weeks ago, where they won 2nd place in the division of 5th grade. So I will got some certificates here. And Ms. Ross, would you like to say just a brief statement on their performance?
Sure. We're just really proud of our kids. They've been working really hard this year, and we're just excited to see them get recognized here too. Camille McGowan is here. Some of the kids could not be here, so I'll take those one. Shavika Kumar is here. And Akshay Petty is not able to be here. Zayden Ajani is here. And Valeria Escobar is here. And Ansley Gilbert is here. And Dong Duke could not be here. Nor could Lindsay Kim. Sorry. Or Ken Lynn. Lost his name. Or Lynn Lynn. Or Lori Stevenson. Adelaide Williams. And that's it. Thanks so much.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Students, if you would stay up front for a group photo, and while we're doing so, any parents here of these students, would you please stand as well?
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Count on three, ready, 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, students. Next up, Spain Park High School Dazzlers, sponsor Rachel Matherson. Are they in the house? Let's have the Dazzlers come on up. They were at the Universal Dance Association's first ever game day competition. Is that Orlando?
Yes.
Orlando, back in February. They are now ranked 10th in the nation. Congratulations. Thank you. Is this Matherson here tonight? Okay, any parents associated? See, we have one parent.
Everyone stand.
Okay, great. Thank you. Next up, Mr. Connor Double, senior at Hoover High School. He captured this award. You see the photo on the screen with Dr. Murphy and our Chief Technology Officer, Brian Phillips. He was recently in Montgomery to be recognized by the Alabama Leaders in Educational Technology for the Debbie Rice Memorial Scholarship. So congratulations to you, Connor. Next up, I'd like to call the Finley Committee Chairman, Mr. Jeff Dance. I believe I saw him toward the back. Here he is, and he will talk to us about the Finley Committee ceremony coming up.
Very good, thank you, Jason. In life, reputation is what people think you are. Character is what you are. Those are famous words spoken by Coach Bob Finley. And we, as the Finley Committee, want to thank you for the opportunity for being here tonight. I think I've touched the screen here. I apologize for that. Get us back to the right. Dr. Murphy and Chairman Kelly, I think I saw Mayor Mercado here. Thank you for allowing us to be here tonight to talk to you a little bit about what's coming up March the 21st, a week from this Thursday at 5:30 at the Finley Center across town here. We will be celebrating over 50 seniors that were nominated for the Finley Character Recognition Awards. We have a couple of our award winners here tonight. Mr. Quincy Collins, the principal from Trace Crossings, and Paul Norris, a senior at Hoover High School. Lauren Choi is our Spain Park. Lauren Choi is our Spain Park Senior Award winner, and she is not here tonight because she is at a Young Women's Science and Engineering Mentorship Program tonight. So we congratulate our award winners, and they're not somebody that's done something great and scored something high or whatever, but they exhibit and lead character in their lives every day and have been exemplifying that in what Coach Finley led in his life every day. And we are so proud of you and so proud of what you mean for our Hoover school system. Thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. We appreciate it. Any of their family members that are here, come on, be recognized. Stand. Thank you. Again, 5:30 next Thursday night, the 21st, over at the Finley Center, we will be awarding these as well as all of our grade level winners across our Hoover school system. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
And while we're backing up, is Mr. and Ms. Double with us tonight while we're recognizing parents? Okay, thank you for being here tonight. Hoover High School BioBucks, they have once again won the Lexus Eco Challenge Southeast Regional Award. This was a very high-tech compilation that energized components from extracurricular, curricular, and Ms. Orr's going to give us a very brief overview and talk about the next steps in this.
It's really hard to be brief. This is part of our team. They started working on a particle pollution project that is heavily involved in STEM, and it's involved in a lot of social justice and environmental justice issues too. We are developing some particle sensors with Southern Research and the GASP organization, and mapping particle pollution all over Jefferson County. We're finalizing the sensors now. We're competing with 15 other projects, and think good thoughts tomorrow about 10 p.m. because our whole project has to be turned in tomorrow, and we'll be competing for 5 really big prizes. We won $2,000 at the Southeast Regional, and $7,000 of that was for scholarships. The next prizes are 4 $15,000 prize and 1 $35,000 prize. But it's more than just the money. It's the fact that these guys have gotten really excited about really figuring out how to solve a problem and help help different communities. And so this is extending on into in the future, and hopefully you'll be hearing a lot more. So it's a pretty exciting project, and we're excited. Thank you. Thank you. What do you mean? We're checking this room. Anybody else?
Next up, we have Ms. Anna Gill. You see her photo there on the screen. Student at Deer Valley Elementary School, I believe 4th grade. This year's 2019 City of Hoover Arbor Day Essay Contest winner. Welcome. Congratulations. She's ready for her certificate, I can tell. Here's your essay on. Okay. What kind of tree? Southern Magnolia tree was her essay contest. So as you shake the hand of the superintendent and the board and take a photo, we'll recognize her parents, who I believe are here as well. Okay. And also with Arbor Day Committee, almost forgot, Dawn, Azak, and Sarah Johnson. Are you here with us? Did they make it? I had an email from them late last night that they would be here. Dawn, Azak, anybody with Arbor Day Committee? All right, thank you. Next up, we're recognizing one of our own here in this building, Ms. Claire Jones-Moore, the Director of Instructional Support. She was recently recognized in this ceremony in St. Clair County for the Margaret Vann Award. This is a slide that they showed that day. Outstanding Special Education Coordinator for the state of Alabama. So congratulations. We've been very successful with the Academy of Craft Training in Birmingham. You know, we send a lot of students from Hoover High School, Spain Park High School, up to this facility, which is in the city's Lakeview district. The Employee of the Month for February is this young man standing next to me right here, Gilbert Nicholson from Hoover High School. And I believe I've got my notes down here. Remind me, building construction? Yes, sir. All right, congratulations to you. And here's your certificate. And I did put my notes down too early. Gilbert scored the highest score based on the Academy of Craft Training employability scale for the month of February. So highly employable. We like that. We like that. his parents here? Someone representing his family.
Yes, we are.
Congratulations. Hoover City Schools District Spelling Bee winner, Abdul Rahman Asal, Bluff Park Elementary School, if you would make his way forward. Okay, this was actually held back in January, and I believe you represented us at the Jefferson County Spelling Bee, so congratulations to you. What was your winning word? Quisling?
Spell
Quisling. Quisling. That's correct. And are his parents in the audience? I see it's wonderful. Thank you. Wonderful. And their principal, Amy Williams, is here too from Bluff Park Elementary School. Is our runner-up from that competition here as well, Krish Nathan? Don't want to overlook him, okay? Dr. Dilhani Uswate, there's just so many accolades here, I don't know where to start, but as she comes up, we'll make it brief. At the Alabama Association of Elementary School Administrators earlier this month, Dr. Uswate was selected to be the division's class Council for Leaders in Alabama Schools Leadership Award winner, and now may be in the running for the state award given in June. All of that's still accurate. She was also on the ballot and selected to the class board of directors. That's also still true. But wait, I mean, things change, trust me. And but wait, there's more. Dr. Uswate will be in a movie coming up. A crew will be filming her when she presents later in March at the National Institute of Excellence in Teaching Conference, and she'll be featured in a new museum in Washington associated with that organization. So lots of good stuff for Dr. Uswate. Congratulations. Okay. Next up, Hoover High School Class, School of Distinction, again, class and acronym, Council for Leaders in Alabama Schools. Superintendent Dr. Murphy was representing our school system recently in Montgomery when we received this award. Principal John Montgomery is with us tonight, Dr. Debbie Grant. This was to recognize the New Beginnings program, if you guys would come up as well. Congratulations.
This award recognizes exemplary programs within our schools. The New Beginnings program at, I bumped it. The New Beginnings program at Hoover High School really got a new breath of life last year. We're in our second year for the new model. We have 20 great kids. Our kids are earning their credits. They're coming to school every day. We have little to no truancy or absenteeism. Kids are earning credits that they may have missed years before, and so we are very, very proud of the new New Beginnings program.
Mr. Gaston, if I might,
Yes.
if I might acknowledge Dr. Grant and the program, as you may recall, we had some angst when we pulled our New Beginnings programs back to our respective high schools. And I think what Dr. Grant, Mr. Montgomery, and others have done at Hoover High School is to show that that model can work, puts those students back in a safe environment, but also gives them the opportunity when they need to be in that classroom with Dr. Grant and others to be there. So thank you for taking that and getting that to work successfully for us. Thank you. We really had to get to a point where we could embrace that, and I thank y'all for helping us get there. Thank you.
This will be our last formal part of recognitions, the National Board Certified Teacher recognition. But before I ask Dr. Jeter to come up, or as she makes her way, did we miss anyone else that were a part of the formal recognitions? Okay, thank you. Dr. Jeter.
Good evening, everyone. I have the opportunity of presenting Hoover City Schools National Board Certified Teachers. But before they come up, I'm going to read a very brief overview statement from the National Board Certification Center. Every student deserves to be taught by an accomplished teacher. National Board Certification was designed to develop, retain, and recognize accomplished teachers and to generate ongoing improvement in schools nationwide. It is the most respected professional certification available in K-12 education. We are adding to our list of National Board Certified Teachers here in Hoover with an additional 9 teachers receiving new recognitions, and we will also be recognizing 21 of our teachers who were recertified within the last year with their national boards. Both processes requires tons of research, evidence, a lot of work, and implementation of best practices in the classroom. When I call your name, the first 9 are our newly nationally board certified teachers. If you will come forward to receive your certificate. Emily Fogelman, Althea Ford, Heather Paulson, Kent Haynes, Catherine Kesterson, Andrew Poker, Robin Sellers, Melissa Summers, Lindy Wilhelm, and Joy Gonzalez. These 9 individuals, as they come forward, are our new nationally board certified teachers, and we will give them a big round of applause. Teacher. And handshakes. And the next 21, some are absent tonight, are newly recertified, and recertification is just as much, if not more work, and I'm sure they would agree with me, as the original application process. As I call your name, please come forward and stand. Stacy Avant, Stephanie Brown, Sarah Carpenter, Alicia Sheramonte, Veronica Davenport, Terry Davis, Elizabeth Dunn, Jill Foshi, Wendy Goodwin, Kim Gerganas, Carol Lawler, Amy Mims, Diana Miner, Glennis Moncus, Dominique Prince, Haney Ramirez, Lori St. Clair Rhodes, Leanne Rowe, Renee Stewart, Nicole Turner, and Brooke Winter. So as they come forward, let's give them a grand round of applause for this presentation. Picture. And handshakes. Enough off. So that brings us to a total, as they celebrate, of 131 National Board Certified Teachers. I mean,
I'm sorry, I forgot to do this earlier.
We got a half hour.
Can't pass it. Handshakes. Yeah, great job.
and last statement about National Board certifications. As of today in Hoover City Schools, we have a total of 131 Nationally Board Certified teachers.
That concludes our recognitions. Thank you.
Board members, could I have a do-over? I need to ask that we address two matters on our agenda, which I forgot. There is an item G that I would like to add to action items, which is CSFO search and an executive session at the end of the meeting. I apologize, I guess I was so excited to start the meeting, I forgot. But if I could ask for you to allow those two additional items, my recommendation to you are those two additions.
Board have I hear a motion to entertain the amendment. Second? All in favor?
Aye.
It is amended.
Thank you, thank you. Board members, you have before you the minutes, and we have three minutes to share with you, three items of minutes to share with you. One is the regular board meeting for February 12th. We have the special call board meeting February 14. If you'll recall, this was bond refunding. We also have the minutes of the special call board meeting for March the 4th, and this was a discussion of our budget amendment. I request your approval of all three of those meeting dates and the minutes therein.
There's a consent vote, I hear a motion to accept all three of those. Second? All in favor? Aye.
You have before you also the personnel report. So for information, we have 5 appointments, 1 change of status, 3 transfers, 10 requests for leave of absence, 6 resignations, and 12 contingent bus driver appointments. I recommend your approval of the personnel report as presented.
Would have a motion to approve the personnel report? For a second. Board have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
This passes. Thank you.
Mr. Kelly, if I could refer to you for item C, interim CSFO.
Yes, the CSO position by law is required to be employed by the Board of Education. It's direct answers to the board directly. That also includes the interim CSFO. So it is our obligation and pleasure to recommend this position coming up. I'd like to board present to you Ms. Michelle McKay, who we all know her talents and the hard work she's done for, I don't know, we can smile. It's hard to get the smiles. I'd like to recommend to you that we please ask Ms. Michelle McKay to serve as our interim. State law allows an interim to serve up to 6 months before we must have a CSFO in place. We will deal with the interview for the CSFO later in the agenda, which we just amended that portion. Board, I'd like to suggest entertain a motion to appoint Ms. Michelle McKay to serve as our interim.
So moved.
A second.
Second.
Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations.
And so the initiation is business action. If you would come, Ms. McKay, and share with us monthly financial statement for January FY19, cash disbursements for January 19, our payroll for February 2019, and then we'll stop there and take the bid as a separate.
Okay, perfect. Included in your packet is the summary and general purpose financial statements for the month ended January 31, 2019, based on reconciled bank statements for fiscal year 2019. For the FY19 budget, 47.6% of budget revenue has been received for the month ended January 31, 2019. Tax receipts have increased compared to the prior year period in FY 2018, but keep in mind that the larger collections are typically October through December, and we will see a decline in tax receipts the remainder of the year. I just want to make a note of that. I would like to share with you next year comparison so that you can see this year compared to last year, and I'll provide that for you next month. The results of operations represent 4 months of activity. Approximately 33% of the budget would be anticipated to have been spent for recurring expenditures. General fund expenditures are a little lower than that at 29.9% of the budget. For the 4 months of activity, the current month's reserve is at 10.14, but will decline throughout the remainder of the year again due to the decline in tax receipts. Capital payments were made for River Chase Career Connection Center and for buses. So that's some of the expenditures that you see on the cash disbursements report. Special revenue fund expenditures for 4 months of activity were $7.3 million, or 39.3% of the budget. Special revenue income is collected a month in arrears for federal funds. Bond payments will be made in February, which will increase expenditures. So just an FYI, you'll see about 8.5% in the debt services next month. Any questions?
Board members, I'm recommending your approval of monthly financial January 2019 cash first disbursements for January 19 and the payroll for February $7,963,037.33.
Have a motion to accept the business actions as outlined by Dr. Murphy.
So moved.
The second. Second. Any questions by the board? All in favor?
Aye.
Accepted. Thank you, Ms. McKay.
I'd like to present to you bid number 1901, parking lot addition to Hoover High School. I'm recommending that this be awarded to Cottingham Contracting Company. They were the lowest responsive bidder. We did have 4 qualified bidders. And if you will, please look at the bid tabulation form. And if I might offer some explanation, if I get it wrong, Tracy, please jump in to support. You see the base bid for that project at $115,214, and that is for a 6-inch base, 2 inches of asphalt, and 2 inches of cap. I share all that detail to say to you that alternate number 1 is a 5-2-1, which is a 5-inch base, a 2-inch asphalt, and a 1-inch cap. And we rejected the alternate and wanted to go with the base bid, which is more substantial. We are also asking that you accept the alternate number 2 bid for striping, which is $2,360, and also the unit price number 1, that's $15 per load of taking out existing dirt and gravel. And we'll probably need to take out about 20 loads to the tune of about $300 additional dollars. That total that I'm asking you to approve is $117,874.50 under the bid of Cottingham Contracting Company. My recommendation to you, board.
What's the total bid?
$117,874.50 because we'll be adding the striping alternate 2 and the unit times 20 approximate loads.
Board, I have a motion to approve the bid awarding Cottingham Contracting as Dr. Murphy stated.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any questions?
So this parking lot area is what's gonna be the gravel that's there now? And about how many parking spaces do we have?
It's gonna be around the new band room addition. We're hoping for about 80 to 85 additional spaces.
And what's the timeline on
Once it's voted on, we'll be on their schedule, so as soon as we can get it.
so this will get started before school is out potentially?
I hope so, yes. And Mr. Montgomery can testify. Right now, we have kids parking in the baseball parking lot.
Right.
And our goal is to get them to the high school parking lot.
Now, is there any parking in the gravel now?
What was the net gain or loss we had after we took away the parking, after this is built?
Mr. Montgomery, did you say
We probably with the building maybe lost 8, 9 spaces, something like that. So we've lost that many, we're gonna pick up hopefully 80-something spaces. So currently, I think we got about 60-something students parking at the baseball field, so we should be able to move them up to the main campus.
So some freshman parents might be a little happy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any questions?
So my recommendation is the approval of the bid, please.
Do I have a motion to approve the motion? Yeah, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, this bid is awarded to Cottingham Contract.
I'm sorry. Okay. Board members, as you know, we had a special call board meeting to address the amendment to our budget. I have had an opportunity to have additional conversation with Goodwin Mill and Kaywood. I want to thank them for coming to the table on yesterday and having a conversation with us. Ms. McKay and I and Dr. Dotson and Mr. Hobson, and then some individuals from Goodwin Mills and Kaywood. And I'd like to, at this point, acknowledge Gary Owen and ask Mr. Owen if you'd like to come forward and make a statement. Share with us if you would. And then Michelle McKay, if you would, I think you're prepared to talk to us about that amendment and what that means to us, or kind of frame that up for us. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Murphy, Board, President Kelly. We did have a good discussion yesterday. We appreciate having that opportunity. I wanted to just briefly discuss some of the comments that were made at the last Monday morning board meeting. Hopefully clear up some confusion about our role with RC3. I want to go through a little bit of a timeline for you just to kind of explain kind of our role in the design process and what was done. As was mentioned, I believe, in January of 18, we started visiting sessions with a lot of stakeholders. We had Hoover staff, we had Dr. Philip Cleveland assembled some of the industry leaders, and we really took a deep dive into looking into that existing facility to see how we could reuse those spaces and change those spaces to basically take on the new programs that were sort of outlined in those vision sessions, which was, as you all know, culinary arts, fire science, construction technology. We had computer science and health studies, health-related studies. So in doing that, we early on we had a pretty good understanding of construction technology side of things. We met and had a good walkthrough with AGC, Philip. He brought like 30 people out to the facility. We had a good understanding of that, and we were able to kind of begin the design process on that part, which included basically repurposing the gym at the River Chase Middle School into a simulated construction site with 4 different zones. Okay, the other part was 2 very well equipped welding labs. Okay, the other part of the program was not clearly as defined. Okay, and from January to June, we spent a lot of time meeting, taking field trips, meeting with industry experts and professionals over that time period. Just to name a few, and Chef Villa's here tonight, he was very instrumental in the culinary arts programs. We had Shannon Ash from Sanford University that helped us with health-related, Dr. Lynn Nichols with UAB on the nursing side of things. We visited the National Forensics Computer Institute in Hoover, looked at their cybersecurity programs. We visited Wallace State nursing program. We visited Jeff State's culinary program. We had the fire chief and his staff come out and do a walkthrough where we really kind of dug in on what they needed to prepare the kids, you know, to really enter into the workforce right after they finish with that program. So it just took a lot of time. We were designing the parts we knew in the building all along. There were just a lot of holes and gaps that we really knew that from the vision that was outlined, we had to get this program right. We had to make sure that we were equipping these students with real life experiences. You know, that was the charge we were given. So I just wanted to make sure y'all were aware that, you know, a lot of times behind the scenes there's things that are going on that aren't as evident in actual producing and showing projects and drawings and things like that. But I can assure you work was being done. We did address the staff in March of 18 that we felt like the project was increasing from the $9 million original budget that we estimated. And, you know, we were thinking about $11 million plus or minus, and that was mainly due to the health sciences program scope increase. We added additional classrooms. We added pharmacy tech program. We also added simulation labs. So at that point, we said, hey, this is moving up. We just want to give everybody a heads up of that. As far as the construction schedule, I want to address that briefly. We, during the bid process, we reached out to all the bidders that were interested, okay? And we asked them, and this is fairly common, honestly. You know, we have a schedule in mind. We want to make sure that it's realistic because with schools, that's just part of, you know, there's always a tight schedule. So they indicated to us two main factors that were reasonable. One is this existing building. We don't have weather impact delays because it's inside construction. And the other thing was that I lost my train of thought here. It was basically the interior. It was basically just an interior renovation. It wasn't. We weren't adding on to it. So the other thing we did is the contractor that was awarded the project would reach back out to them post bid and ask them, you know, there's some concerns about the schedule, some premiums. Was there a premium for the tight time frame? And they said that there was not a premium, and in fact they had mentioned that if they had put a premium on that they probably would have got the bid. So, and as far as the design fees, our contract is based on Alabama Building Commission standard fee agreement. Okay, so as the project moves along, we base our fee and our invoices on what we think is the estimate of the job. So after the job bids, that fee is then adjusted on a sliding fee curve. It's just part of our contract. And then there's some discussion about alternates, and that's broken down based on a percentage of the design that was done. And then during construction, there's a lesser amount. So I just wanted to clear that up as far as that adjustment in the fee. You know, to wrap up, we're very excited to be a part of this project. We have from the beginning. You've got some great industry leaders that have come to the table that have helped us formulate a program and a project that I think is going to be second to none. I don't know of any other system in the state that has this level of facility that really integrates the training like this will. So I hope that's addressed some of y'all's concerns. I've got, if y'all have any questions, I'll be glad to take them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Owen. I appreciate your meeting with me on yesterday and appreciate you sharing with the board.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. McKay?
Before we talk about the budget amendment, I did want to address the fee for the architect. The original budget was based on an $11 million total project cost. The approved base bid was $13.5 million, which left a difference of $2.5 million. The additional $500,000 architect fee is a result of this additional $2.5 million, but it's also the exclusion of 1.25% renovation fee that I was unaware of at the time that we did the budget. The architect fee also includes the design of 3 alternates for future growth: a new road and parking at the field, construction of the F-wing, and a metal building at the field. So that is the reason for just the $500,000 adjustment to the architect fee. And then we had the $2.5 million that we're asking for the actual project, and then the remainder was for some salaries. So we're actually asking for a budget amendment that was 3.25%. Our original budget balance was to the positive of $146,000. So we're only asking for a net budget adjustment of $3.1 million. Are there any questions?
Okay, you said weren't aware of the sliding fee. Who should have been aware of that?
I was actually aware of the sliding fee schedule, and that's what we used when we did the original budget. We went to the ABC fee schedule, and we used the percentage that was there under the group 3. But what I did not know was that there was an additional fee for 1.25 for renovation projects. I didn't remember that from my past experience or from this particular project.
If I could, Gary, I'm sure that's in writing in the contract. Is that something we should have called? I mean, you want to explain what it's a renovation project. It has a different level and be charged according to code, right? So if this fell under renovation, therefore the architect fees were up, right?
Yes, sir, that's exactly right. Per that Alabama Building Commission contract, there's a clause in there for major renovations. If more than 50% of the building is renovated, which we're renovated almost 100% of this building, then your fee is adjusted 1.25%, taking into consideration documenting the existing building, drawing the existing building, uncovering conditions and things like that.
Hopefully will GMC possibly treat this as a non-renovation for the good of mankind and our children? That's the question.
I've been.
You'll take it back and ask?
Yes.
Thank you. Any questions?
Board members, my recommendation to you is that we amend our FY19 budget $3.1 million, and in the event Goodwood Mills and Kaywood does otherwise, we'll take that as a donation. My recommendation to you is the amendment of our budget for FY19, $3.1 million.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Thank you very much.
If I could just deliberate one moment, and that is we do have 3 alternates that have been designed for our future use. So that's not something we have to go back to the table for, and I don't want to miss this in the process. Alternate 1, we already have a design for an additional road and parking to that campus. The alternate 2 was to do renovations of what we're referring to as the F wing of that facility. And alternate 3 is a metal building for some future growth and other programs. So we are paying for that up front. We didn't approve that in the original budget, but we have that already designed as we grow forward. And so I think that's a positive for us. So thank you for letting me add that to the discussion. And thank you again for meeting with me yesterday and sharing today. Next, board members, I have for your approval the textbook committee. You have a list of those committee members before you. And this year, the textbook committee will be reviewing career tech education. We'll also be looking at digital literacy and computer science standards. And so that'll be the focus of the particular committee. The members that you have before you, my recommendation is your approval of the proposed textbook committee.
Okay. Board, do I have a motion to the textbook committee?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Are there any questions about the textbook committee? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Thank you, and we appreciate the committee's efforts. We know this is a lot of extra work you do. I don't know how many of you all are here, but thank you for agreeing to do this. Extremely important.
Thank you for helping us with that too, Dr. Jeter. And then the added item, which is CSFO search. Board members, I'm aware that the Alabama Association of School Boards has a search fund that would assist us in the process of finding that right CSFO. And I wanted to put on the table for a conversation if you all want to look at the support of AASB. As I understand it, it is a $5,000 fee for their assistance through this process. I think there's some merit to your considering that, but I simply want to place that on the table for your discussion. So I'm going to go ahead and say to you, it is my recommendation that we engage with AASB in the process of this search, and from that recommendation, you can generate conversation.
If you want to hear a motion in a second, we can discuss the details of this. I have a motion to approve AASB to do a full-time CSFO search.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, it's $5,000 plus expenses. That would be if we paid for somebody to travel here. Again, this is a board hire. It's up to your Board of Education to hire the CSFO as it is the interim CSFO. AESB does an outstanding job for our district and a lot of things, continues to educate us. We realize that they may not be able to bring the right person to us, but for your board to be able to interview, we can't go out as in quorum or in serial meetings and interview. So we need somebody to give us a clearinghouse of recommended persons. So they would bring whatever the board's pleasure is, 3 to 5 candidates forward that we could choose to interview. At that point, everything becomes public. It could be that they don't bring the right person. It could be individually. The board may contact someone that they want to get. So I think it's money well spent. They have access to ASBO. They're in the network of it. Amber Anderson does this full time for the ASB. So it's my recommendation that we pass this. I think it's money well spent. Okay. Any questions from the public? All in favor? All right, good.
Thank you. We have 3 reports to share with you, and I want to ask Dr. Ron Dotson if he'll come up. We did get some information from Mr. Owens sharing with us about RC3, but I want to get Dr. Dotson to pick it up from there and share with us.
Thank you, Dr. Murphy. Board, you made a tremendous investment in this facility. You've also made a tremendous investment in the people to do this right. And so I wanted to give you an update tonight on, we're at the halfway point of the semester, so we're halfway through this time. And as Dr. Murphy asked me, what have these people been doing? So I'll tell you what we've been up to in the work so far. And it's been a busy time. I just about fell asleep a few minutes ago, but it's been a very, very busy time. Been working very hard and proud of the work so far, and just tickled to see us getting closer to the goal. These have been our priorities. Number 1, student recruiting. It all depends on if you're gonna have a party, you gotta have people there. So getting the kids there who need this, and so working at the high schools, connecting with kids, talking to parents, answering emails, and just trying to clear up as many questions as we can. Seeking partnerships, because we cannot do that alone, and there are a number of partners here with us tonight. You'll be meeting in a minute, and so seeking those partnerships to make sure that we can do this in a way that's going to be bigger than just Hoover City Schools. Curriculum. These are 4 of these 5 programs are new to Hoover. And so actually getting the resources and setting the expectations and finding out what we have to do in order to get kids job ready in these areas. And equipment, furniture, trying to line up exactly what's needed, what does the industry want, what are the things that we have to have, that we wish to have, that would be awesome to have. And finally, training. Our teachers need the real world training. They need a lot of the certifications and credentials that we want our kids to get. Asking them to do the same, going to sites, going to schools that do this really well and seeing how they do it and learning from their successes. So we've got a lot lined up, and we've already done that, and we'll continue to do that. Just a reminder, what we're trying to do here in this facility is create a space where we can focus on career and college readiness. We're not trying to create a school that has lower academic standards, same college expectations for our English and math courses there as we would have at Hoover High School or Spain Park, but at the same time directing that, integrating that in with career training. We want to run a school that's a simulated workspace, a space that looks more like a place of work than it does a school. And that's some of the challenges that Gary talked about, being realistic, trying to create spaces that are very realistic. And I think we're going to achieve that. And having the kids behave in ways that will make them employable. We met Gilbert earlier and talked about his employability. I hope we can say that about all our kids in this program. We'll be running the school in morning and afternoon shifts. Kids will be coming there for half of their school day so they can still be connected to Hoover High School in Spain Park and still play sports, be connected to band and all that. But that focus, the number 1 job is soft skills, the employability factor. Building renovations going very well. I want to commend Gary, Bob, and your whole team at GMC keeping us on track. And Stone Construction has been an amazing group to work with. They have maintained a very aggressive timeline and kept the project on schedule. And I don't want to jinx anybody, knocking on wood everywhere, but we're on schedule right now, and I hope we will continue to finish. It looks a little different right now than probably the last time you saw it. Lots of work going on. And, of course, that's how we hope it's going to look in about 90 days. And that Learning Commons area, that's such a powerful statement for what we're going to, and that's what hopefully it's going to look like in about 90 days. And this is where the culinary arts area looks like now. That's where it's heading. Skilled trades, the basketball gym. What was the basketball gym, and that's our conception for how that's going to look. The Fire and Emergency Services Academy used to be the old band room at the school, and now it's going to be replica Hoover Fire Station. You know, a beautiful fire truck parked in there. The Health Science Academy is where we knocked out a whole wing of classrooms to build what's effectively a simulated hospital in this space. The Cyber Innovation Academy took what was the old school library and turning it into something that models on the National Forensic Center here in Hoover. So we're very proud of the spaces and what we're going to be able to do there in terms of training with the kids. Student recruiting has been our #1 focus. Our teachers and team have been in, they've led 72 presentations in classrooms and assemblies at Hoover High School in Spain Park and have addressed 4,073 students in the last few weeks. We've had 5 evening events at Hoover High School, Spain Park, and Pelham High School, and 2 specific RC3 nights at Hoover High School and Spain Park. Our goal for this year was at least 400 students, and as of today, we have 612 signed up. So we still have a couple of weeks to go. The numbers there are worked toward. Partnerships are critical in this thing. We've got to do this with our business and industry community, listening to them and involving them. We've told them that, you know, we're not just looking for checks. We're looking for partners. We're looking for people who will be in this with us and will help us. We'll be in there with the kids, holding the saws and the welding torches and the scalpels and working with the kids to help get them ready for where they're going to be. We're looking for industry partners, post-secondary partners, and neighboring district partners. On the industry partnership side, we've established these donation tiers. And again, as I've talked to these folks, we're not just looking for a check. We're looking for folks who will commit guest instructor time, advice, materials, equipment, all of the above. This is still a work in progress. We're still talking. And as we get more access and the building becomes more available, it's going to become easier to involve people and be able to get those commitments. But industry is seeking this. They want to support it, and I hope you'll see and hear that tonight. You've met Chef Chris Villa. Chef, if you'll stand. I don't know if you have any of your partners with you tonight, but if you want to talk for just a minute, just tell us what your vision for this program is.
I'm a product of Career Technical. I'm a huge fan of it. I'm passionate about it. And I can see RC3, especially the culinary and partial, being state of the art from when we first enter the front doors. From the numbers jumping to buy 100 within 3 days sort of says something about the need. Speaking with industry, they are very excited about offering time, their expertise as far as what they're looking for instead of just warm bodies. And we want to equip our students to go. We're building crosswalks with post-secondary, Austin State, Jeff State, so where students can be have a higher billable rate, so to speak, and also pay their way through college instead of being knee-deep in debt like a friend I know, not me. To say we're extremely excited, the work, the hours that we put in is just a small portion of what the payoff's going to be. So we're very grateful.
Thank you, Jeff. Cyber Innovation Academy, the lead teacher there is Vinny Saramonte. Vinny?
I'm Vinny Charamonte. I'll be leading the Cyber Innovation Academy, and we're really, really excited about the opportunities that this can have for our students and even surrounding communities we talked about. If I was in school and there was an academy or something like this, or even just the school itself, it wouldn't make a big difference in my life. So I'm really excited about the opportunities it's going to create for children that see college as an option, but they also see another option. So we're looking at giving them a career and college-ready choices. So they'll be ready for the workforce or for college if that's where they want to go as well. Got 2 partners here. Well, one of them had to leave. Dion Gordon from Tech Birmingham was here, but he had an arrangement at 6:30, and so we ran a little long. But he did want to express a vertical commitment to RC3 and to the Cyber Innovation Academy. So I'm really excited to partner with them. And then Amber Pope is here. Can I stand up, Amber? And Amber is with Teals from UAB. They're gonna just, oh yeah, that's with Teals from Microsoft. I've been busy, so do you want to say anything, Amber?
Just about, we're excited to be in Hoover City Schools, and I love the fact that we're able to bring industry professionals to work with the students and to help them learn the curriculum while we empower our teachers to also learn the curriculum to be able to offer this program, many years after they've outgrown us. So, thank you.
So just real quick, what Teals does is they'll send someone from industry to come in to teach a course.
Every morning.
Every morning. And that's not, that particular course I don't need support in, but I'm just excited to have somebody from industry in there because they're gonna know things I don't know. They're gonna be able to answer questions for the kids that I can't answer. And so we're just excited about the partnership. So thank you for your time.
Yes, and Teals will also be working with hopefully Hoover High School in Spain Park as well with our 9th grade students there. So that's gonna have an even bigger impact. Fire and Emergency Services Academy, we're very, very proud to be partnering with the City of Hoover Fire Department, and they are one of our 2 currently committed platinum sponsors. And very, very proud to have Chief Kevin Bentley here. Chief, been a pleasure working with him. Come on up. And also these 2 guys, Lieutenant Jeff Otwell, Lieutenant Landon Johnson, will be the teachers in the program, both full-time firefighters in the City of Hoover. And 2 gentlemen that I would love to work with my kids. And I'm going to be proud to have them working with this program. Chief.
First of all, I'd just like to say thank you for allowing us to be part of this program. This is very exciting for us because I was approached about a year and a half ago about this program, and we were on board from day one. And to have a new facility to be remodeled and have something so nice, or as nice as this is just it's second to none. Alan Rice, our city administrator, he was at the fire college for 10 years, and he was very instrumental in getting this program started statewide. He is 100% on board. He's kind of guided us through this. Mayor Mercado has been very, very supportive in this. He believes in this program. If I'd had something like this when I was growing up, I think this would have been something I would have done. And I think that this is just an awesome opportunity. We have selected, in our opinion, the best of the best to teach our kids. We've chosen these 2 because they have good moral character. They're just good examples, and I think they'll be good mentors and good role models for our children. And I'm just, it's a great thing. We, just over a year ago, we were able to purchase some new equipment throughout the city, and we were able to secure some of that older equipment for this school. And we have a reserve engine pumper truck that we donated or donating. We have a ladder truck that we're donating, air packs, turnout gear, tools. And so we're in 100%, and we just appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, Chief.
Can't wait to ride the fire truck. Yes, sir.
I want to recognize the city officials we have here. They've been mentioned during the program. It wasn't from neglect. The mayor, of course, is here. Can't see everybody here. We knew the presentation was coming with you, Chief, and we didn't want to get ahead of you. So thank you to the elected officials that are joining us today.
Yes, and thank you, Mayor, for trotting around with me in the mud this afternoon. So you got to take a look inside today. Our Health Science Academy, this is the only program that we're actually moving from the current high schools, and that's to give them a better facility, a place to do what they do at a higher level. And so Tanya Kendrick will be our lead teacher. We have 6 teachers currently between the schools in this program. It's one of our largest career tech programs. Tanya, you want to share your vision for the new combined program?
Yes, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Tanya Kendrick, and I will be the lead, as Dr. Dotson said. What I tell our students when we've been into the classroom is saying you're getting the best of both worlds. We're joining together, Spain Park and Hoover High School, and you get the best of both. So that is a plus anytime that we can work together, we can have an opportunity to kind of establish what we want. Our partners are going to be like the UAB, Sanford, and Grandview. Those are the folks who are going to actually come into the classroom. I'm a registered nurse. We have some students that want to do a nurse practitionership, so we're going to partner with those folks. We're also going to have job shadowing programs. We do job shadowing now. Grandview and UAB Medical West are huge partners of ours. My vision for the program again is making sure that these kids have skills. I talk to recruiters, I go and talk to college board presidents, and we say, look, we are Hoover City Schools. Our kids want to be the top notch. What do we need to do in the classroom to make sure that gets done? And that's what we're going to follow. Employability skills, soft skills are number one across the board. So they have to come in, they have to be on time, they have to be dressed. We go over application. We want to make sure that they have a real world experience. And again, I just keep saying, and I can't say it enough, they are going to give the best of both worlds between Health Science Academies, Spain Park, and Hoover High School. So I wish this was available when I was coming up. It's not, but I'm going to make sure that when they leave there, they're going to be prepared to work in those hospitals and clinics.
Thank you. And finally, last but not least, our Skilled Trades Academy. And I'd like to invite Bill Caton from Associated General Contractors to come forward. Bill and his organization. Bill is the Chief Operating Officer for Associated General Contractors of Alabama. And Bill was at the table with us from the very beginning of this idea. Dr. Murphy, if you'll remember the meeting we had with AGC and Build Alabama, and where the idea began for searching for a place to do this. And so thank you, Bill, for pushing us and for the support and the council you've given it to us. And AGC is our second committed platinum level sponsor. They will be heading up the Skilled Trades Academy area. We have many others that want to pitch in, but they've been with us from the very beginning, and I want to Bill to say a few words.
Thanks for everything except the saying a few words part. But I would like to say that our industry is extremely excited about this. Our industry is extremely excited about this project. It means a lot to us. The platinum sponsorship was a no-brainer. AGC represents over 1,000 contractors statewide, and in Birmingham alone, we represent 400 contractors, and about 10 of those end up on Engineering News Record's top 400 every year. These are the largest contractors in the country, and they work all over the United States and internationally. So their commitment is anywhere from $100,000 to $150,000, as we've discussed, depending on need. And also we want to be committed to being there on site. We're going to help with students and instruction and NCCR work, all the things that matter in this industry. I also want to point out quickly that the AGC 10 years ago passed our Go Build program through the legislature, and that provides $1 million a year for recruiting for our industry, and that helps bring kids to a program like this. 5 years ago, we passed the Craft Training Act, which provides $3 to $5 million a year for post-secondary training. So this type of program that the Hoover school system is taking part in will allow your students to get introduced to the construction industry, learn the beginnings of it, and then move into employment and into a fully paid post-secondary education opportunity in the trades. So it's a exciting, dynamic industry, and we're certainly glad that you guys are participating at this level. It means a lot to us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. We appreciate the help. Dr. Coach, if you would stand, Brian's going to be the lead teacher for this program. And Brian, you want to say a few words about your vision?
Absolutely. So first of all, I am proud and honored to be a staff member of Hoover City Schools. I lived here in Alabama for 13 years and always reviewed this as one of the top school districts in our state. And so I'm very proud to be a part of it. I was really excited when I heard about the vision for the school. You know, we're connecting the math and English into the area where kids be excited about learning. When I was in high school, the math and English just didn't make a connection, and I checked out when I was just a young teen, and I absolutely hated school. And I think if there's programs like this that has math and English, it makes sense. I think we're really going to impact and change the lives of a lot of kids, and that's really what excites me the most about this program. My vision for this, I want this to be not only the top program or school in Alabama, but I'd like to see it be top in the United States and actually be looked at upon the world leaders, educational leaders. So I'm just excited to be a part of it. You can see we've been hard at work pulling in some industry partners. We've got an advisory board meeting coming up this Friday. So looking forward to having them help us direct the curriculum. We're asking the industry to tell us what is that we should be teaching our kids in order for them to enter the workforce, and then what equipment do we need. So we're letting the industry kind of steer and direct the training, how their employees will be trained through our school. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. I also want to note Hoover City Schools Operations is on that list, but you're in, I know. Our post-secondary partners, finally, because we don't want this, I mean, we're wanting kids to continue on, and we've got strong partnerships with these schools already. I know I've got some friends from Lawson State here, y'all can stand. James, okay. Thank you, James. You want to say any words?
Well, thanks for having us. We're definitely excited about
Can't see him.
Can't see him. Come on out, James.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm James Gray, Workforce Development Manager for Lawson State Community College. We're definitely excited about aiding in the development of your new career academy, providing exposure to different career fields for the students, and also creating career pathways for the students as well. Because in terms of workforce economic development, 20 years from now, people are going to get ready to retire from certain jobs, and it's going to help fill that skills gap. So we're excited about it, and whatever capacity we can serve, we're definitely here to help you all out. Thank you.
Thank you. James, also Hoover resident.
Dr. Dawson, I'm not sure if you were with us, but James, thank you. Ms. Baumann and I went to Lawson about 18 months ago, maybe a year ago. Sorry. And y'all were very courteous to us, showed us what you were doing, and we all agreed, let's team up with the kids. I mean, we share resources, but thank you for extending the invitation to us to visit you, because we got a lot of our vision on that trip.
Yes,
Absolutely. They've been a huge help already. Is anyone from Jefferson State here tonight? I didn't think they were going to be able to make it, but we have a huge presence with them, and also want to continue to expand those relationships. We're also neighboring with two neighboring school districts, Homewood City Schools and Pelham City Schools. The numbers that I shared with you earlier do not include any students from those schools, so I'm starting to get a little nervous. But they're both very excited about the opportunity to be able to work with us in this project. The work ahead, we have lots of curriculum work to do to get these new programs ready. We'll be bringing resource adoption information to you in the time ahead, and working with as we get our English and math teachers on board, working on that integration that everybody's talking about, continuing our teacher training, continuing our site visits. Again, the planning to make sure the spaces are as innovative and engaging as possible. Working out all those student schedule questions and all the conflicts, and trying to figure out how to make this work for as many children as possible. One last person I want to recognize tonight, Dr. Cleveland, will you come forward? Dr. Cleveland has been, I'll call him my personal coach. I don't think that's your official title, but he's been with us from the beginning of this project, and as we get close to opening the doors, his time of being an official shepherd is drawing to a close. But Philip, I just want to commend you. Thank you for the credibility you've given to our work, for the wise counsel that you've given me, and to the guidance to our teachers and community in doing this right, and finding the way to get this off the ground as quickly and successfully as possible. So I just want to commend you. Thank you very much. All the work you've done.
It's been a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
Dr. Cleveland, I want to thank you also. We really appreciate your support through this process. Dr. Dotson, you've just done an awesome job. Accommodations to those teachers who came into place in January, and yes, I am saying, so what are they doing? You know, what are they doing? And y'all are working very hard, and we're appreciative of that. From our programs, how many areas of credentials might are out there as a result? Do we know how many credentials are now available to our students as a result of this center?
Still working on those specific, I mean, there will be credentials associated with every program and within every program. Don't have an exact number yet, but
Lots of
that's the work
opportunities. I
ahead.
mentioned that to remind you that as we're thinking about how we're given grades by the state, by the legislators, one of the areas is that of our students being able to get credentials. So I think we're opening an avenue for ourselves, for our students, such that that should reflect positively on any subsequent report cards as we go forward also.
It's an interesting statistic for our school district that we have a higher percentage of students who are college ready than are career ready. And usually it's the other way around. And so it shows a mark of improvement that we have to work on.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Two other things I'd like to mention, board members, simply is a process that we're going to be moving toward in terms of our work at the table. It's an opportunity for us to be able to have our documents uploaded for us for the meeting purposes. It should support our work here at the table. As you know, we received a grant from the School Board Association, which allows us modules both for that of meeting, also a module for our board policy, and a module for documents, which means that we can, as I've shared previously, sit at the table, have immediate access to our board policy, our strategic plan, our student code of conduct, also the meeting agenda and any attachments that connect to that. And so it's a user-friendly program, and I look forward to our transition from passing lots of papers to just being able to go more or less paperless at the table. So as you're aware, we're in the process of that. And then lastly, and I just want to thank these folks for hanging tough with us, neighborhood bridges. David Bannister, may I get you to come up, and others that you want to join you? Let me thank you for your patience, and look forward to your sharing about neighborhood bridges. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Murphy. I see a number of different folks. Steve come in, Chief Bentley, the mayor. We have one of our esteemed, our Sergeant SRO officer, I see. So we have a number of different people. Just very briefly, Council, as a father of 3 children that have all gone through the Hoover City school system over the past 20 years, I am proud to tell you that I've been in this building probably 30 or 40 times over those last 20 years, celebrating countless state championships like we did with Coach Johnson, some individual accolades for my own children, but I've never been more proud to tell you about this program. And before I tell you about the program, I want to tell you, with Mayor Bocato here and Dr. Murphy, it was the perfect time. We have never seen a better relationship with the city and our school district than we do right now. And I'm very appreciative of the mayor. I'm very appreciative of the councilman, the city council. I think Councilman Posey was here before. All the leadership, Chief Bentley, our SRO officers. So let me just tell you a little bit about Neighborhood Bridges. It was started on Martin Luther King's birthday with the idea that everyone can serve and kindness is everywhere. And when we brought this idea to Dr. Murphy and Jason, she said, I'm all in. I love it. So what it basically is it's a technology platform that we've built free of charge to the school system, that we've now empowered your 40+ school counselors to write up needs on an individual basis, anonymously, and then send them to our great leaders over here, Janet Turner with the Hoover City School Foundation, who's one of our directors, and of course Greg and Donna Bishop, who have been running Hoover Helps. They are the day-to-day neighborhood bridges. I'm just the pretty face. So what we did after Dr. Murphy and Jason gave us the go-ahead is we met all of your counselors upstairs and we trained them on how to put needs out on this platform. And what happens is when you put the needs on the platform, they go to Janet and Greg and Donna, and they just review them ever so briefly, just to make sure there's just nothing missing, nothing, we're not looking for commas or apostrophes or things like that. We're really just looking for, was it really completed? And then we post that need. And this project has been in play for 50 days. like any school system project, we have a scorecard for you tonight. We're going to tell you what the scorecard is. It's 100% fill rate. We've already touched and helped 162 plus Hoover City children and families through almost 70 acts of kindness. And in that, what has happened is, and how many of you are familiar with it? Awesome. Well, that's great. Well, you'll be happy to know that we already have 1,000 people in the Hoover community that have signed up. We already have 30+ thousand that come to Facebook and come to Twitter to look at these items. So as I mentioned, Donna and Greg and Janet have built this platform and trained your counselors to put these needs in on a daily basis. Those needs go to them, they then post. Donna and Greg then send the email out every Monday morning, and the average fill rate lasts about 18 minutes. And the community gets a chance because everyone gets to be involved. So what's happened, and I know Chief Bentley, if you'd like to come back in real quickly. I'd like to thank Chief Bentley because we put an element in this that Dr. Murphy really liked, the mayor really liked, and has never really, we didn't even think about it in the initial throes, and that is to keep anonymity and to keep the integrity between the counselor and the student and family in need. Everything remains anonymous. As your directors, we will never know, nor do we know, all of those individuals we just spoke about. But one of the elements we put in was that our donors then bring, with a printed out sheet of paper, these donations to the fire departments. The fire departments then take, I'd say, Chief, what, once or twice a week? Twice a week to the schools. And we had Catherine Bruno on our field trip to Montgomery very recently, and Dr. Mackey, who loves this program and enamored with this program and wanted to know how Dr. Murphy cooked this whole thing up.
I took credit.
Well, of course, you should. But he said it was ingenious to bring the fire department in. And Catherine Bruno said, she goes, I'm not going to lie. She goes, the fact that firemen come and see us as counselors twice a week doesn't hurt their feelings. But what was said by the counselor and a firefighter to Catherine was, I thought, what really captured the essence of the bridge. And that is, he spoke about that over his 17+ years in serving, he's always been asked to go into a problem. He's never been part of a solution. And being able to deliver the kindness to the school has connected this city in, I think, a way that we all know how great this city is. We all know how great the people in this city are. We just have never really given them a chance to use their phones to show us. So this technology allows them to do this on a daily basis. And as we talked with Ms. Deanna before, there's some other initiatives that the bridge can continue to build on and make bigger and better. But I just want to thank this board that's here, Greg and Donna Bishop, who have basically done all the work, Janet Turner, who has done an amazing job of connecting us and keeping us connected. Please come forward. Steve McClinton, who is also on our board. And I believe I may have driven most of the others out, but we do have Chief Bentley and the mayor, and of course, our own Jason Gadsden, who has been unbelievable in this. If you've seen a lot of the media, and we've certainly had our fair share of the media, Jason has been responsible for helping us get on all those shows and all those great things. And then, is John Anderson here? I want to thank the Hoover Sun. So, Steve, if you want to unfurl that scorecard. So the Hoover Sun has committed to putting this in every month, the scorecard for the community to see. Because I think it's important for the community to see what they've done as a collective effort. And one last thing I'll tell the board that I think is a wonderful story and unintentional benefit. The chief had two particular ladies, seniors, if you will, who I don't know, but they came to one of the fire stations and they hadn't had children in the school system for over 30 years. And they thought, Hoover has all they need. I go by the schools and I see great schools. I see wonderful city services. How in the world could our city or any of our school children have the needs that I'm seeing? And with tears in their eyes, they made donations and they dropped off clothes for the children that they selected for the kindness. And what I'm seeing already is we're connecting people that used to have children in the school system that have a reason to be proud again of our leadership in the school system again, and the people in this room, and that makes my heart really happy. So I want to thank Dr. Murphy, I want to thank Jason, I want to thank everybody here for everything they've done. We won't come in front of you very often, but when we do, we'll bring you a great scorecard. And then last but not least, because we love to use social media, I know you've been sitting in your chairs for a while. If you could get up and come around, we want to take a picture with y'all. Thank you, Dr. Murphy.
Thank you, thank you.
We're gonna give you a copy. We're gonna give you a copy.
Jason Gatson should be in this picture.
Jason, to give me
Jason's a big part of it.
Yes.
All right, you got absolutely. Hold on, let me get Jason in the picture. I'm sorry.
There you go.
All right, so I got everybody. Ready? All right, I got a bunch.
All right, 1, 2, 3, last one. 1, 2, 3. Gotcha.
Thank you again.
This month is actually $100. You want to see what I was just doing? I just done that at $50. Thank you for taking my appreciate that. See, I yes, once talking about and I was
Thanks again.
Thank you again, David, and to those board members of our neighborhood bridges. Thank you so much. That brings us to our public participation.
Good, one of our enjoyable parts of the evening. Do we have anyone that would like to speak in public participation tonight? Okay. Would like to remind you, please state your name, address, what the topic is you would like to speak on. I'll remind you the good name and character's got to be observed for persons and our school district. Based on that, please come forward.
Is it just one at a time?
If you don't mind, we're not going to run out. I don't care which one of you goes first. You would come up here. It's up to you guys. If we ask you, try to speak for 3 minutes, just for the sake of respecting other time.
Where's Jason? Okay, Jason's got us.
Okay. Yeah, I would say one thing too. The board, by policy, we cannot address discipline. And so if there's any issues that come about discipline, the board cannot hear them. But, sorry for all the caveats.
No problem. In the spirit of high school debate, which I participated in Uber, can you give me a 1 minute warning?
Yes.
So my name is Ali Masood. I went to Hoover High School, graduated from there in 2011. I've been living in Hoover for about 10 years now. Address is 1195 Greystone Crest. This week I was pretty disappointed to hear some bad news coming out of Hoover High School. I'm actually a little disappointed that it wasn't addressed at today's meeting, but I'm sure you've all heard of the video that was circulating regarding some Hoover High School and Spain Park students and their racist and anti-Semitic comments. I authored a letter this week that was circulated on social media and got some alumni signatures. I have it here with me today. I've included 118 signatures on it, but since then, there have been 314 comments on my Facebook page. So there's a lot more names to be added to this list. I just haven't had the time to put them in yet. The gist of the letter is simply asking, in this case, the principal of Hoover High School, but it's also applicable to the Board of Education, the superintendent, of course, to take action on this issue. I was really encouraged by all of the great news that we've seen in this meeting so far. We're building new facilities, we're getting kids ready for college, we're preparing them with job training, but I think part of being able to operate in the real world is being cognizant of all of the social ills that are going on, and racism is a big part of that. So I feel like our students need to be prepared to tackle that as well, and I haven't seen any effort to address that. In fact, I've seen quite the opposite. Both Hoover High School and Spain Park High School There's been very, very little response to this, and almost an appearance of wanting to brush it under the rug and not address it. And what I've seen is that there are propositions to perhaps have voluntary participation in programs that address these issues, but I think that sort of misses the point. It's almost as though we're saying it's voluntary whether you want to be racist or not. If you want to have these conversations, sure. If you don't want to have these conversations, no big deal. So, all that to say, I am hoping that the Board of Education can perhaps contribute to the solution. I'm not just here to complain about these things. We have a series of programs that we are ready to help plan in conjunction with the high schools that I think would be really helpful to our students. These include collaborating with community leaders, with interfaith groups, people who do this sort of work in anti-racism training on the daily, and also even suggesting maybe new ideas like history classes, taking field trips to Montgomery to the new National Memorial for Peace and Justice that just opened up. Things that would teach the students why racism is such a pressing issue and that it's not something that we can just joke around about. So with all that being said, I know I'm running out of time. I would love to hear from you what you think the Board of Education can do to contribute to these things. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would love for you to give to our secretary, Ms. Winstead, your name, your spelling, and maybe contact so that we can make contact with you. Thank you for sharing with us.
Okay, absolutely.
Hello, my name is Hazina Dorius, and I live at 2041 Shevia Drive. And I just have a few questions. This is my first time at a school board meeting, and I'll just really just hone in on one question. And it's just about process. As I watched this meeting, it was very positive and engaging. But I didn't hear a lot from some of the members about some of the major items that were on the table. So I was just curious as to what the behind the scenes process is like in terms of how long members have to consider the items that are being proposed and what the communication is like between and among the school board members.
So if I could address that, public participation really is your opportunity to share with us any concerns that you might have. And certainly, but in terms of the board being responsive to questions, we're here to hear your concerns and hear any suggestions that you want to offer to us.
Oh, okay, well, thank you. I guess that's a concern that there were some major items on the agenda, the action items, and I didn't really hear from, it didn't seem like everyone spoke or shared their thoughts equitably, and I don't know if there is information out there that might give me some insight into how this process works, in terms of how board members communicate and how long they have to ponder, consider, research, review some of the items that are on the board. I also was concerned about the budget adjustment that was $3.1 million, and that there wasn't a statement about how that looked vis-a-vis some of the other bids that were presented to you, and whether you all should revisit some of those other bids to see what would be truly a better overall bid given the budget adjustment of $3.1 million that was presented earlier. So that was another concern. I think that's about it.
I will answer your question if I could. We're governed by the Open Meetings Act of the state of Alabama. We can't meet either in serial groups or 3 or more at a time to discuss board business. That's why we're here. So it's very difficult for us to go have lunch and discuss board business. We had a work session earlier today that was about an hour and a half long, and a lot of that conversation can take place at work sessions where you're not in a formal situation like this. The communication typically comes from the superintendent making the board aware of challenges, opportunities. If it's called an action item, it'll be an item that if we chose to address it, we would motion to be seen up here. Any board member is free to talk during the board meeting just by request of the chair. So it is open, but it's governed by state code. So be more than happy to show you, and I do appreciate your concern. It's frustrating for us. I can't even send an email to Ms. Baumann, I like this program. If she sends it to Ms. Tosney, we just violate the law. So it's very difficult to meet and deliberate unless we're in this environment.
Okay. So can I give you my email, maybe information?
Absolutely.
You can send it to me? Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Anyone else? It's a long meeting. We have some good things to talk about. I know we have an executive session. I will go ahead and say our next board meeting, regular call board meeting is April 9th, 2019, 5:30. We've been on the agenda, approved to go into executive session with our board attorney, please certify.
Yeah, to discuss matters of pending litigation.
Okay.
Board members, I do want to recommend that we go into executive session for the matters as outlined by our school board attorney.
Okay, do I hear a motion to go in executive session?
So moved.
For a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I don't know how to estimate how long we will be there. You know this came up on the agenda recently, so let's say an hour. We will not come back out here and make any decisions in public, so you're not going to miss a decision of the board after we come back out. Anything more? Thanks everyone for being here. Adjourned.
All right, good.
Thank you for all your help. That's good.
Coffee got cold.
Yeah,
I know.